Hey there, I'm really excited that you're going to join me and a group of people in the 8-week mindfulness group at my office at Wise Mind Therapy Services. We're using the book by Mark Williams called Mindfulness, Finding Peace in a Frantic World. And it's an 8-week crash course in how to take mindfulness from really the roots up, really laying a foundation of practice of awareness of the present moment, which essentially is what mindfulness is. It's a practice of focusing our awareness on the here and now, and what that begins to give us is a foundation for noticing some things and becoming more aware in general of our own being. And the gift of that is that most of our life is run kind of automatically. It's one of the dangers of our human potential is that we have the ability to store most of our behaviors and habits as automatics. There's an advantage in that because then we can be free to explore something new. But what happens when everything becomes kind of automatic and nothing is new and fresh? Then we could become depressed or anxious or chronically angry or just feel empty, disconnected. So mindfulness is a practice of really discovering the newness of the present moment. And we're going to work together for 8 weeks on this. And when I say work together, it really is, it's a minimum amount of work for a maximum amount of benefit. So the work that's required, don't want you to freak out or be worried. It's really very simple and doable. We're talking about showing up to group once a week for an hour. In that group we'll practice the meditation for that week. Each week is going to have a different meditation practice, a formal meditation practice. And by formal I mean the kind of meditating we do when we actually sit still. And it's all recorded for you, so you'll be guided by Mark Williams, who's the author of the book, into practicing awareness. And the most important part of all this is that we're practicing a skill, and we're not judging our difficulty with that. So we're actually doing something very simple that's also very difficult, and we're going to fall off of that focus many times. And one of the basic principles that we'll be supporting each other with is that it's not about perfection, it's about a process of attending without judging, and even not judging our difficulty with attending. And in the end, we all have an inner judge, the part of us that sits there and criticizes us and tells us we're not doing it right. And we don't even want to judge that guy. So this little guy that clamps down on us, we want to treat him with kind of non-judgmental awareness. And eventually we'll learn that the part of our mind that antagonizes us will soften, or at least become more tolerable and less influential if it's held in awareness. So our awareness will expand beyond the initial practice, which is an awareness of body and breath. We'll be practicing awareness of thoughts, sounds. We'll be practicing awareness of our intentions. We'll be practicing awareness of how our bodies and minds handle difficulty or problems that need to be solved. And by the end of this 8-week process, you'll have a bunch of tools and possibilities for yourself to continue a mindfulness practice. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, because the science is in, and the results of a mindfulness practice that is simple and doable are pretty astounding in terms of mental health, physical health, emotional health, even relationship health. And so we're getting ready to get going. We'll gather each week, we'll practice the meditation for that week, and we'll talk about the informal side of mindfulness practice. So there's a formal side, which is seated meditation. There's an informal side, which is like how do you practice this just in moments randomly throughout your day? How do you actually bring it to where you live and move, in your actions, your work, your relationships? And that's really where mindfulness has its maximum benefit, is some formal practice, not a whole lot really, and a lot of informal practice. Really, it comes down to being fully present in each moment of life, because it's really the only thing that exists is this moment. And any future moment is just going to be another present moment, and any past moment was just another present moment. And we can be present to all of it and basically come down out of a hyper-vigilant, worried, panicked mode that our lifestyle tends to induce in humans. We're actually living a lifestyle that isn't really consistent with our biology. It's not what our body and mind evolved to encounter, but it's where we're at right now. So we're going to try to bring some old wisdom to a new reality, which is life today. And our ancestors, our deep ancestors especially, this was just part of who they were. And so it's really wired within us to do this. We have a deep biological memory of practicing mindfulness. So, week 1 is where we're going to begin, and each week I will do a little video that describes the work for that week. I'm going to send that as a separate message. This video is just to kind of welcome you and to help you start to wrap your arms around what you're committing to. And one last thing I would say is just, if you can enter this 8 weeks and really just gently give yourself to the practice, if you miss some of it, definitely do not beat yourself up. Do not put your practice of mindfulness on the list of things that you're supposed to do that you don't do. Don't create a guilt complex around it. Do it as you can. If you can do it every day as prescribed, you'll get the maximum benefit. Even if your practice is spotty, you'll get some benefit. You'll start to encounter, sometimes what people encounter in mindfulness practice is they become kind of painfully aware of how difficult it is for them to do something for themselves. Something that's just kind and considerate to their own being. If you encounter that, the group will be here to support you. We're not going to judge each other. We are going to create a way to connect. So you'll receive these videos. You'll also receive an invitation, if you wish, to participate in a group text message in which all of us can post our triumphs and our difficulties. If I come to the end of the day and I go, I'm too tired and I didn't meditate today, and I just want you to know that I was thinking about it, I thought about meditating, post that, and we'll stay real with each other and we'll support each other. My hope is that allows people to feel a sense of community, because most of what we feel in our society, the community we feel, is just too frantic. We're all driven to do things faster. Traffic. Everything is designed for efficiency, but it really isn't designed for the kind of joy that people can experience just by being here now. So we're going to help each other, we're going to support each other, and we're going to meet every week. We'll go over the meditation, we'll talk about the informal practice for that week, we'll problem solve, answer questions, share experiences, share triumphs, notice the changes that are coming with the practice, notice the pain it's causing, because one thing that will happen with a practice of mindfulness is that you may experience some discomfort. That's actually part of the process, taking our minds and brains out of their automatic mode into something new. But we want to do that with all kindness and gentleness, because in the end, a good mindfulness practice is really learning to hold yourself in your awareness, kind of like you'd hold a baby no matter what. So you'd take care of that. You would nurture that. So try to let your approach be nurturing, positive, caring towards yourself, leave your judgments at the door. This can't be driven by harshness. It has to be driven by a gentle, positive intention for yourself. So again, really look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I will send another message in a little while that really pertains specifically to week 1 of the Mindfulness Practice 8-week program. And until then, I'm Mark McGonigal. I'm your humble guide, and I've been meditating, I would say on and off, because I haven't been 100% consistent since I was about 18 years old. And I probably wouldn't be here teaching this, obviously, without that practice under my belt. So I've experienced most of the typical problems and a lot of the benefits, and I look forward to passing that on to you, and then you can pass it on to others as you gain the benefit of this practice. Thank you.